But listen,
Respectfully, Your Honor,
Miss Pugh,
we're
don't
not
speak over me.
incarceration.
Miss Pugh, just because you say respectfully does not mean that you get to interrupt me. That's disrespectful, right? Hang on. Listen, Miss Pugh, stop talking over me. If you want to stop talking over me.
Where is the verified claim that is being placed against my trust?
You can go back with the bailiff. Go back with the bailiff. Get your own attorney or represent yourself if you don't like it.
All right, today we've got a no-nonsense judge facing off with a very confused sovereign citizen. This young woman came into court holding a small piece of paper, basically the usual script that sovereign citizens like to recite. It looked like she really thought she could say a few buzzwords, drop what she believed were legal bombshells, and just walk out free. Honestly, I was surprised she seemed to think that would actually work. This hearing takes a pretty interesting turn, so stick around. Let me know in the comments what you think about her approach. Let's jump in and see how it all unfolds.
Good morning. Are you Janetta Pugh?
I am the beneficiary of that estate.
You're the what?
I am the beneficiary of that estate.
You're the beneficiary of what estate? Answer my questions, please, ma'am. I'm just trying to understand.
Beneficiary of that estate.
Okay.
For the record, I recognize Ms. Pugh. She's been here before.
I do as well, for the record.
And I looked into Mr. Christopher Wiley. I can't find that person as a practicing lawyer in the state bar page, and I have not been contacted by anybody on Ms. Pugh's behalf.
All right. So, Ms. Pugh, Mr. Lewis has been appointed to represent you at this point. Obviously, you know as well as anyone that you're in custody and we want to get your case taken care of. If you've hired or your family has hired another lawyer, then they have to contact the court so that we can do something with your case. And do you know if they've hired someone?
Respectfully, Your Honor, I do not agree with your appointed foreign agents, considering that the first duty is to the state and will be considered conflict of interest. You know?
Okay, so if you don't want, the only thing I can do, I'm appointing an attorney to you to help you, right? So if you don't want a court-appointed attorney, then your only option, two things. One is to represent yourself or to hire a lawyer. So if you don't like the way it works, then you do something different. So are you, listen to what I'm saying. Are you either going to represent yourself? Or are you going to let Mr. Lewis represent you? Or are you going to hire someone?
Objection, Your Honor. Respectfully, is this a court of record?
It is a court of record. So your objection's overruled.
Okay. Respectfully, Your Honor, where is the verified claim that is being placed against my trust?
It's right here. It's called an indictment. And Mr. Lewis has a copy of it and he can show it to you. So that would be the verified claim against you.
Okay. Your Honor, respectfully, Your Honor, there were writs that was filed to the case that still haven't been received.
I've received your petition for writ of habeas corpus and it's denied.
Okay. Respectfully, Your Honor, I demand to be released due to lack of evidence of stated claim and not being given the proper opportunity to obtain proper counsel, defective defense.
It's overruled.
Okay.
You're running out, aren't you?
No, it's fine.
This whole situation is honestly hard to watch, but also hard to look away from. The young woman in court is really making a scene, sticking to the usual sovereign citizen script. Meanwhile, the judge is calmly sitting there, waiting for her to run out of steam. I've got to admit, the judge's patience is impressive. What's always surprising is how these folks truly believe that saying, "I don't consent," is some sort of legal trick that makes everything go away. But that's just not how the justice system works. Courts across the country have ruled on this again and again. It simply doesn't hold up. Now, this woman seems polite enough. She's even calling the judge Your Honor. But you can tell, she's completely lost in this mindset, grasping at anything to avoid dealing with reality. I can't help but wonder, how did she even get here? What convinced her this was a good idea? Let me know in the comments what you think. Is she just misled? Or did she fall too deep into the wrong online rabbit hole? Either way, let's keep watching. This hearing definitely isn't over yet.
So here's the thing, Miss Pugh. I appreciate your position, but listen,
Respectfully, Your Honor,
Miss Pugh,
with
don't
my
speak over me.
incarceration- Respectfully, Your Honor, with my incarceration being
Miss
involved-
Pugh, just because you say respectfully does not mean that you get to interrupt me. That's disrespectful, right? Hang on, listen to me. Everything you have there is overruled. And here's one of the reasons why, is because you have a lawyer. And your lawyer will file the appropriate motion. You're interrupting me again, which is disrespectful. So I'm going to leave Mr. Lewis as your attorney unless you choose to represent yourself or hire someone else. I'm going to give you 2 weeks to determine what you're going to do. You can go back. You can go back with the bailiff.
I do not agree or comply to your appointed
Go back.
agents.
You already said that, and that's overruled.
Is to the state.
Go back with the bailiff. Get your own attorney or represent yourself if you don't like it.
Well, yeah, that last hearing was definitely uncomfortable to watch, but hang on, because this situation isn't over yet. The same woman actually comes back to court on another day, and yes, I've got that hearing lined up for you too. At this point, I honestly think the judge deserves an award for staying so calm, trying to reason with someone who refuses to follow the law, but insists they understand the Constitution better than anyone, has got to be exhausting. It's like trying to have a conversation with a wall, only the wall argues back. That said, the judge is handling it all with a good mix of patience and firmness. She stays focused, asks fair questions, and keeps the hearing on track, even when it starts going off the rails. Personally, I think she's doing a great job under the circumstances, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think the judge is being too patient, or just the right amount? Let's jump into the next part of the hearing and see how things unfold from here. This one might get even more intense.
Perfect. So, Miss Pugh, Mr. Jeffries has been appointed to represent you. He's trying to get caught up real quickly on all the information and the discovery in your case. I'm going to reset your case so that he can get all of that. Once he gets it, he'll be out there to go over it with you, and we'll see if we can get an announcement at the next court date.
Respectfully, Your Honor, I do not agree to comply with any of the appointed court agents, considering that their first duty is to the state.
I understand. We've had this conversation before.
And for your record, I'll be representing myself.
So if you want to represent yourself, there's some things. Ms. Pugh, stop talking over me. If you want to stop talking over me. If you want to represent yourself, then there is a process that we have to go through, and we'll do that today. If that's what you want to do, we'll get your case set for trial and we'll go forward that way. It is highly inadvisable for you to represent yourself. Lawyers have many, many years of training. They understand the law. They understand how a trial works, because here's what happens. When you're in a trial and you represent yourself, you're expected to know and follow all of the rules of evidence, all the rules of procedure. And so you're really at a disadvantage if you don't know those things. And so you have to do everything just like the assistant district attorney would. And if you don't, you're going to be in front of a jury, and it's going to show, and it's just not going to be, it usually does not work out in your benefit. But I have to go through with you some questions first before we do that. And then if you still want to do that, then there's a couple of couple of options, and we'll go over those as well. Okay. So I am supposed to ask you, I'm going to go through these questions. I need you to answer them if you want to represent yourself, because this is required. All right. So have you ever studied the law? Okay. Have you ever represented yourself before in any kind of criminal matter? Okay. Do you understand the charges against you?
I'm never been accused of.
Okay. And so do you know, and we've gone over before, I think, what the range of punishment is if you're found guilty on a jury? Do you know what that is? Let's see. Hold on a second. Let me pull you up here. We'll go over that again as well. The date of that allegations from June 22nd of 2021. And what that means is if you're found guilty, that the range of punishment that the jury could give you is between 2 years as a minimum punishment up to 10 years in prison, anywhere in between. Do you understand? And you answer out loud just for the record.
Do I understand? No, I don't understand.
What do you not understand about that?
I have to admit, I could almost predict exactly what she was going to say next. At this point, I've seen so many of these sovereign citizen cases that it's like I've got the script memorized myself. Breaking down their arguments every day really makes you wonder how much damage misinformation can do. Honestly, it's sad, because while some of these individuals may be struggling with mental health, they're also creating serious problems by wasting time and public resources. Courtrooms run on limited budgets and personnel, and when someone comes in armed with conspiracy theories instead of facts, it stalls real justice. What's even more surprising is that this time, she didn't bring the same script she used in the first hearing. Maybe that brief stay under county jurisdiction gave her time to rehearse it all by heart. That said, if she plans to represent herself in court, she could be facing some serious consequences, potentially 8 to 10 years. So let's jump back into the hearing and see whether she decides to go it alone or finally brings in a real defense. This next part could get very interesting.
I don't understand, Your Honor.
So here's the thing. If you want to represent yourself by law, you have to be able to understand these things. Otherwise, I've got to appoint an attorney for you. So you can't just say, I want to represent myself because I don't like the attorney or I don't like the process. This is the process that you're in. You live in Texas, you live in the United States. This is the law that applies to your case. So what do you not understand about the range of punishment if you're found guilty? And I'd be glad to explain it.
I don't understand because I haven't did anything wrong.
That's what a jury's for, right? And so if you say you're not guilty, then you go in front of a jury and they determine after they listen to the evidence if you're guilty or not. That doesn't have anything to do with if they find you guilty, you understanding that they could send you to prison for between 2 years and up to 10 years. Do you understand that part? What are you, yes or no? No, you don't understand that. So, Ms. Pugh, it's my understanding, I'm not going to allow you to represent yourself because you don't understand the law and the process. So we're on question number 4 out of 15 that I'm supposed to ask you. So Mr. Jeffries is going to stay on your case. I don't care what you want at this point. You can't do it. All right, you can go back with the bailiff. I'm done. Go back with the bailiff. Go back with the bailiff. Welcome to the criminal appointment list.
Yeah, fun, Judge.
This was not meant to be any kind of punishment, I promise. So Mr. Jeffries, just, get ready like you would. Probably it's going to go straight onto a jury. And we'll just get it figured out that way. All right.
I've got to say, I think this judge handled the situation about as well as anyone possibly could. Honestly, a solid 10 out of 10. Let me know if you disagree, but from where I'm sitting, she gave this defendant every chance for a fair hearing before finally deciding enough was enough. Her level of patience was seriously impressive. I mean, most people would have thrown in the towel after 10 minutes, but she kept her composure throughout. That said, there's a bit of sadness behind all the chaos. It's tough watching people dig themselves into a deeper hole, especially when the judge is clearly trying to help them find a way out. If you lost a few brain cells watching this unfold, I do sincerely apologize. It's a cringe fest. But let's be honest, it's hard to look away. Watching someone try to outsmart the legal system with made-up logic is like watching someone dance without rhythm. Awkward, messy, and bound to fail. Let me know in the comments how you think the judge handled this one. I'd love to hear your take. And if you enjoyed today's video, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button and subscribed. I'm posting content like this every single day, so stay tuned. Thanks again for watching. Take care, everyone.